Welcome to Lesson 1 in the Cogtrium Telehealth Quick Start Lesson Series. The purpose of this short series of lessons is to get you up and going on the Cogtrium Telehealth platform as soon as possible. Lesson 1 is a discussion of the roles, an overview of the kind of functions that you will be able to do within the actual platform system. The Quick Start lessons in general have several objectives. When you are done with these lessons, you should be able to conduct telehealth sessions. You should be able to schedule telehealth sessions with your patients. You should be able to add patients to the system, add their demographics, set session limits. You should also be able to link providers to patients and payers. In this particular lesson, the objective is to understand platform roles. What a role is it means that if you log in with a certain role, you're able to do certain things and perform certain functions. The first role is that of patients. Patients are those that are receiving the therapy. Secondly, there are providers. Providers are the doctors, the clinicians, the therapists, and others that are actually providing the clinical services. Finally, there's the EAP. These are the executive administrative personnel. EAP are those folks that are doing the back office functions that can be the entry of patient, data entry, scheduling, linking referrals and payers. It's those kind of functions that are involved in EAP. A patient has one primary function, and that is to receive telehealth therapy. When a patient is scheduled, they receive an invite, and it comes with two documents. One is a notice that there is a session set and how to log in. The second is a calendar invite that can be loaded into their calendar system. On the invite, the session can be launched by clicking on the link, same in the calendar. For all devices except iOS devices, it's a matter of just opening a Chrome browser and clicking the link, and that launches the session. With iOS devices, that's iPads and iPhones, it requires an additional step, and that is downloading the app from the App Store. Providers are the therapists. These are the clinicians, these are the physicians, and these are all of our folks that are actually providing services. One thing that we need to make sure that the system requires is that the therapist NPI number is entered in the system. This is the National Provider Identification. This is the unique provider identifier that allows a clinician to see all of their appointments across all of the various items that they may be engaged in. For an example, a speech language pathologist may be involved with providing services at multiple districts plus conducting a private practice at the same time. Because we are linking providers to their NPIs, it allows the therapist to see all of their appointments and manage all of their patients from one central place. What a provider can do within the system is conduct sessions, schedule visits, and approve bills. The EAP executive administrative personnel function is just that. It's to maintain the back office data entry and manage those pieces. So the EAP is the role of the office personnel. It's the person that links patients and providers through the referral and authorization process. It's the person that links patients to payers, and it's the one that can also do scheduling. Now, keep in mind that a person can have multiple roles. There will be providers in some clinics that will also act as their own EAP personnel. Often that's determined by the size of the clinic. Somebody that's a single practitioner without administrative support would clearly act as their own EAP. But there's others in large clinics that also want to act in those functions, and that's permissible. It's just as it means you need to do EAP functions, you have to log in with your EAP. If you're doing provider functions you need to log in as your provider self. Quick review: telehealth platform roles: patient, provider, EAP. Patients receive therapy, providers give therapy, EAP handle the administrative and executive functions that make that all possible. It's time to get started. Doing a session or two makes the process very intuitive. So completing these started lessons quickly and getting practical experience hands-on is the quickest way to get up and going. Most of you will find that just a time or two through and you're masters at it. It's old hat. The interfaces are very intuitive and they don't take a real large learning curve. The place where a learning curve can happen is with therapists that are doing telehealth for the first time. There can be some adjustment. Getting through a few therapy sessions will get your feet on the ground and help you be able to see what works and what doesn't work for you. But getting through those first few experiences is important. So complete these lessons and get launched and get doing. You'll find that ultimately that patients love telehealth. They find that the privacy is a huge plus for them. They love the convenience, and they love that there's no travel time. Most therapeutic techniques that you use in the office, you'll find with a little creativity work as well or better in telehealth than they do in the office. But you have to try a few to get to that level of comfort and confidence and experience. We suggest that when you are starting, you start with existing patients. Pick a few patients that you have a good rapport with, an understanding, and do those first few initial sessions with them to get through how does this work online? How do we adjust our techniques? You'll find that in a very short time, most people forget that they are online, that their interactions become just as they would be in the office. And that's almost universally what happens. So I think if you keep in mind that your patients are going to love it, they're going to love the access, the ability they have to engage with you, and the absolute convenience of it, you'll find that this can work amazing for you in extending the reach of your therapeutic skills. The only limitations are your own creativity, and we are planning on with a whole series of these videos to give you help in how to expand the creativity. Lesson 1 is now complete. You now have a basic understanding of the roles, and hopefully you have an inspiration to complete these quick start lessons and get on to actually doing telehealth. Remember, getting started, getting into it is the best way to expand your reach. Appreciate you listening. Hold a task and good success.